When I was a kid, I was fascinated by model railroad building. My father took me to a store that had an amazing railroad layout. It was wonderfully crafted with tiny buildings, snow-capped mountains, rivers with waterfalls, and dozens of other incredible details that I could have fixated on for hours. I realized pretty quickly that it wasn't actually the trains that captured my imagination, it was the concept of world building. Of course, I didn't know what world building even meant at the time. However, I knew that imagining an open world that I could construct inch by inch was exactly what I wanted to pursue. I instantly related that concept to the one thing I had in my possession that was scale, and that was my toys. Now, this project really isn't about playing with toys. Okay, it's not only about playing with toys. Mostly. No, this project is the idea that I can actually take the time to construct an entire world and obsess over every little detail, all the while being 47 years old and playing with toys in my garage. I have the opportunity to combine simple materials like XPS foam and plaster to create a miniature landscape and build something very different from most collectible cabinet displays. I can use my trusty razor knife to cut and sculpt pathways across the city, stairs that lead to places only I can envision, and details that are so small they can be easily overlooked by the casual spectator. Or details that are so small they can become a rare treat for those that take the time to fully observe. This project is not one to be rushed through. Instead, it's quickly becoming a calm place for my mind to rest from the stresses of normal life. We all have responsibilities. Jobs, kids, bills, taxes. There are lists of projects that need to be done on our homes, maintenance on our cars, unpleasant maintenance on our bodies. Look at your calendar and you'll no doubt see obligations and accountabilities as far as the eye can see. These obligations have me thinking of a time when I was younger, a time that my life was simpler, a time I spent with saber in hand, my trusty steed at my side, fighting off an army of evil villains to save the realm in which I was king. Basically in my backyard with a stick and my dog, but you get the picture. I miss those times, and I wish I could go back and tell myself to cherish them more, but I can't. I can, however, use this silly little hobby to take myself back there again and again. I want that for you too. You're watching this now, undoubtedly sharing a similar interest, and maybe even the desire to escape reality on occasion. Well, with a little creative planning, you can carve out a little time each day or a bit of time each week and find your way back to that simpler time. Whether you take on a massive display cabinet like this, or a smaller build that fits on your desk, this imaginative approach can satisfy both your need to create as well as de-stress. You'll find you're not alone on this journey of miniature fixation. Through the years, others have found this an equally noble pursuit. Millions around the world have taken to the creative landscape that is tabletop gaming. And more than the act of playing those games, it is the crafted artwork the hobby has inspired. Now, I'm not talking about the artwork created by books you buy at the store. I mean the art created by those intrepid adventurers that make it their mission to craft. Miniature painting, terrain building, storytelling, and the list goes on. Though I've never actually played a single game, I observe many of those creators that teach the techniques involved in that craft. Those tools and methods have helped me learn the process so that I can retreat to my nerd cave and build tiny worlds for my tiny toys. Hello, my name is Brian. I'm a nerd who loves geeky things, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You see, we all have hobbies. Some obsess over sports, others are fanatics about cooking, people build cars, others cultivate gardens, and I like toys. I crave creativity. I insist on imagination, and I obsess over construction. I'm at most home covered in sawdust and paint. I find happiness in a pair of fingers chemically bonded yet unintentionally adhered by carelessly applied glue. I am joyful when I spend hours assembling a perfectly impractically practical project. I am at peace making what some might find inconsequential and others find incredibly inspirational. The project you see before you is pink foam, partially sculpted. It is mixed in some areas with plaster and molded stones. There are layers that suggest levels and spires that suggest scale. There's a form in the background and it may suggest depth. Yet I hope you can start to see a form taking shape. I hope you can envision a bit of where this build could be headed. Can you see any of the color or textures? Can you hear the sounds of the city, the ships overhead? Most importantly, Does it make you even remotely excited to start your own project yet? I truly hope so. I hope you find the time, that you carve out a bit each day, or maybe some each week. I'd really like to see what you've come up with. I'd like to see what you do when you decide to build your something out of nothing.